My name is Maeve Kelly. My audience members are my friends Pierce, Kalani, and Victoria. My specific purpose statement is to inform my audience of the signs and protocol when identifying an individual who is part of the sex trafficking industry. Good afternoon. Today I would like to talk to you about the issue of sex trafficking in America. A lot of people claim they know of this issue, but they do not know any details about the subject. Even with the information I am about to give you, there are still parts of the industry we, as outsiders, may not know about. Regardless, there is no excuse not to be actively involved in fighting this issue. I'm here today to inform you of the signs and protocol when identifying an individual who is part of the sex trafficking industry and how you can help. You may be sitting here wondering, why is she talking to us about something we are not individually affected by, nor are a part of? Well, let me ask you this. Do any of you in the audience have a younger sibling? Do you have any nieces? Do you have any younger cousins? Is there a child in your life, whether they are related to you or not, that holds a place in your heart? Now think about if that child were suddenly taken away from you into a place where they are so unfamiliar by people they do not know who see them simply as sexual property. While this scenario may not be a reality for you, it has been and still is for countless mothers, fathers, siblings, and loved ones. According to Tabitha's House, an organization that provides services for victims of sex trafficking, approximately 100,000 children are forced into the American sex slavery industry annually. The average age of these children is 12 years old. I have a sister who is currently 12 years old, and the thought that there is even a possibility of this sort of treatment happening to her is unbearable to think about. However, I am lucky, and she is lucky. But the 100 adolescent girls who are sexually exploited every night in Georgia are not. The 200 to 400 girls who are sold online monthly in Georgia are not. According to a CNN article titled Sex Trafficking, the New American Slavery, the city of Atlanta is ranked #1 city in America for sex trafficking. The industry brings in about $290 million per year, and traffickers can make up to $32,000 a week. The #1 city for sex trafficking is only 100 miles from Columbus, where we currently live. I'm sure that the majority of you have either lived in or visited Atlanta at some point in your lives. Because the city is so close to us, we have a responsibility to at least be informed about what the signs of sex trafficking are, if we happen to find ourselves in a situation where we are among a person being held against their will. Tabitha's House and the Department of State websites provide a list of indicators. Victims may exhibit one or more of the following: signs of physical abuse, signs of physical illness or sexually transmitted disease. They may be depressed or distracted. They could be wearing expensive clothing, accessories, or shoes. They may have tattoos of names, money symbols, or barcodes. They may have difficulty making or maintaining eye contact. Their answers might be scripted or rehearsed, and they will act submissive or fearful. Some of the common behaviors and characteristics of pimps and traffickers are as follows. They could be jealous, controlling, abusive, and violent. They will buy expensive gifts for their younger companion, and they may be vague about their profession. If for some reason you find yourself in a situation where you can speak with the victim privately, the Department of State suggests that you ask them as many of the following questions as possible without jeopardizing their safety. Can you come and go as you please? Do you live with an employer? Where do you sleep and eat? Do you have a passport or ID? If not, who has them? Now that you've heard the signs and indicators of victims and their traffickers, let's talk about what to do if you believe that you have identified an individual of the industry. The Department of State suggests that you immediately alert law enforcement, calling 911 and then calling the trafficking hotline, which is 1-888-373-7888. Since there is no way to know how a trafficker might respond, it is highly discouraged to attempt to rescue a victim yourself. However, if they have already escaped, you can help them to find an organization that is trained in victim care, such as Beloved Atlanta or Tabitha's House. The trafficking hotline can help you do this. While you may never be faced with having to identify or help a victim of sex trafficking, it does not mean that you cannot help fight against the issue or spread awareness. There are plenty of opportunities to volunteer, donate, and support organizations that help victims of sex trafficking. The following programs located in Georgia all are working to help those sexually exploited and victimized change their lives for the better. Wellspring Living in Atlanta, Georgia, has 3 residential programs, a women's academy, and a training institute. Beloved Atlanta is a residential home for adult women affected by sexual exploitation. Tabitha's House is currently accepting donations for when their care facility opens. They claim that it takes about $3,000 to $6,000 to care for one girl every month. To help, donations are greatly needed. These 3 are just a few of the numerous organizations that need our help. I hope that throughout this presentation you have learned how prominent of an issue sex trafficking in America is, especially in Georgia, so that you can become more observant of others and possibly help a victim if you find yourself in that situation. I hope that you are inspired to get involved and contribute to the fight against this life-ruining industry by raising awareness. If the number of people who know how to identify and properly report a trafficker or victim increases, then the potential to save lives is substantially greater. I heavily encourage you to share this information I have given to you today. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.